there everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to just make a very simple, basic chicken, a whole chicken. So it's real simple. It's something you can serve with mashed potatoes and gravy. You can serve it with any kind of vegetable as well. But it's just your basic whole baked chicken and it's really delicious. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. Here's our chicken. We washed it really well, and of course with food safety and raw chicken you want to disinfect your sink afterwards, and then you want to put your chicken onto some kind of little foundation where it's not going to make contact with the rest of your, like your cutting board or whatever. So I have a large piece of parchment paper, and the first thing I do is after I put it on here is I get a paper towel and I kind of dry it off. And it's a little wet on the bottom, but the top here is what I'm going to baste it with. So this is my main concern right here. So there's many ways to bake a chicken, but I find this way is kind of really delicious. So I have about 4 cloves of garlic that I put in the chicken, and then I melted some butter, because it's easier to rub the butter on the chicken when it's melted versus softened. So what I do is I wear gloves when I work with chicken too. And I just baste the whole chicken. I put a little on the bottom, but mainly I baste the top of it. So with a lot of butter. And this is about 1/4 of a stick. And I just make sure that everything, the wings have butter on it, everything on the main part. And after I do that, I'm going to take this glove off, and I'm going to get a little spoon, and I'm going to, or actually I don't need a spoon, I'm going to just salt. I'm using kosher salt. And I'm going to kind of sprinkle it generously all over the top. And then I'm going to take my other glove off, and I'm going to put pepper on the top. So mainly these are what I use. These are the seasonings I use for my chicken. Occasionally I'll put a little bit of garlic powder on it, but mainly I just like to put salt and pepper. And then I do have some fresh rosemary, and I put this in the sides, or like this, and I cook this. This is a 6-pound bird because I have, there's 5 of us. I have my daughter and my grandson that just came from out of state, and I have my son and his girlfriend and myself. So there's 5 of us. This will be plenty for all of us. So I'm going to bake this at about 375 for probably a good 2 hours. So here's our chicken all ready to go in the oven. What I do is I put a little tiny bit of water in the bottom of the pan just to give it a little liquid in it so it doesn't like stick to the pan type of thing. That's how I do it. I just put a little bit of water. But I am going to cover this up right now with foil, and I'm going to refrigerate it until I'm ready to actually bake it. I'm just getting it kind of seasoned right now and ready. And then when I'm ready to cook it, it will be about 20 minutes per pound. And this is 6 pounds. So it's going to be just like I said, about 2 hours. And I will either go with 350 or 375, one of those. And your internal temperature of your chicken has to be 165. That's the Fahrenheit. So you want to have a thermometer if you have one, and you just stick it in if you have one. And normally if you poke it with a knife and there's any blood that comes out, that's how you'll know it's definitely not done. But if you do have a thermometer, 165 is the internal temp that it should be. Here's your meat thermometer, and as you can see on the bottom it tells you poultry 165 degrees. So if you look on top in the center, it's 160. So just to the right a little, it has to be 165 minimum. There it goes on the middle rack. I'm going to do 350
for about 2 hours.
So the chicken has been cooking 1 hour. So I'm going to put a little more butter on it to kind of just baste it and keep it, kind of moist, where you don't want it to dry out. And you can see over here, I have a little liquid. I'm going to put a little more water in, not a lot, just there's a little broth, and I pour a little of it over. Kind of I baste it like you would a turkey, just to kind of keep it moist. You don't want it drying out. So we've got about another hour to go. So this is right at 165. So the chicken is done. This is our baked chicken. You can see the moisture in the bottom. I have a little bit of, it's basically chicken broth from adding a little bit of water. And here it's all ready. And the next step is I'm going to make some gravy. But it's nice and brown and golden. That's what you want. And I did put the thermometer in, and it is reached where it should be. So now we're going to slice it up. Okay, here we are. Everything turned out wonderful. I'm serving this with Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, corn on the cob, and this wonderful baked chicken. It turned out fabulous. So if you want to make a baked chicken, this is one way to do it. So let's give it a try. Very tender and very delicious. My son went and cut this up, sliced it up, and it's just as good as it looks. So I hope if you want to make some chicken that you'll give this a try. Thank you.